Great. Well, hello. I am so excited to be here with Sarah Janes this morning. And I was thinking back to the first time that I had the incredible opportunity to meet you, and that was actually at the launch of the Manchester WBL chapter. But you are one of the incredible co-leaders of our Salem, New Hampshire chapter. And I was going to introduce you, but I think that you could do a better job than me. So please, for everybody who this is their first time having the privilege of meeting you, why don't you introduce yourself?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amy. So my name is Sarah Janes Hogue, and I'm an investment advisor with Primerica. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I'm a mom of 4 amazing kids between the ages of 15 and 21. And my husband is 35 years in the military. So we have quite the quite the busy life going, and always have. And I just love the idea of this project, and just really am ecstatic to sit here and share the women that have influenced my life and have just so profound. I do want to start off by thanking my mom for planting the seed of faith in me. She's got an incredible faith, and she's very courageous. She moved here from Canada without speaking a word of English to marry my dad. So I didn't know any English until I went to kindergarten, and had no idea what these kids and teacher were talking, like what they were saying. But at that age, you quickly learn it. But my mom, I can't imagine being early 20s going through that. And so she really inspired me. But the person that in history that I really want to share with today is Mother Teresa. I just remember as a young child, we did not watch much TV at all. TV was not part of our lives. However, I do remember this moment, and I wish I knew how old I was, where Mother Teresa was visiting, must have been in the United States, and it was all over the news. And I just remember being so attracted to the TV and so attracted by her, this frail, tiny woman, when there were thousands of people around her, and how my mom would just share with how amazing her work was. And then I became your typical teenager and did not believe in God for a few years, and kind of forgot about Mother Teresa. And she's come in and out of my life several times in different ways. And over the last 10 years has really been someone that I just realized she was way more of an incredible woman than I ever knew she was. I was gifted with this book that says, "Do Something Beautiful for God," and it's a daily devotional of her quotes. So I read that a few years back, and I could not believe how simple of a woman she is. And then I'm gonna say maybe 2 years ago, within the last couple of years, there's a documentary done on her life. And when I watched that documentary, and I don't even like documentaries, but this one, I was definitely watching it, I could not believe the tenacity this woman had. And I've always thought she was a very frail, gentle, kind, loving woman. Wow, did she have courage. And it took a lot of discipline and a lot of time, and some very strong letters to the Pope to allow her to leave the convent, to go do the work that she felt she was being called to do. I didn't know that about her. I didn't realize that she had to fight hard to go out into the community to do the work that she felt called to do. And that the community she was in was rougher than rough, something we don't even experience or see in the United States. And that she had no fear, zero fear. She had 100% faith that she was doing what she was called to do, and that everything else was going to be okay. And she just loved everyone. No, didn't matter color, didn't matter race, it didn't matter religion, it didn't matter crime, it didn't matter what problems they had or who they were. She treated every single person, and I love when I read this about her. She treated every person as a creation from God, the same way she was a creation from God. So she didn't see anything other than this human being in front of me was created by the same God that created me. And so she treated them that way, regardless of what was going on or what they've done or what they didn't do. And the other part I absolutely love about her is her tenacity of how many schools, how many businesses, how many things, how many orphanages that she built with nothing. This woman had nothing. She had the clothes that she wore every day. She didn't have materials, but she had an aura of her with confidence that God was going to provide. And she built these massive buildings with other people's money that she was able to get people to donate through her simplicity. So simple. So I just adore her. I love her. And I just feel like she is such a strong role model for all women and men, that we don't need to be what we think of as a businessman, right? We don't need to be forceful. We don't need to be rude, or we don't need to be cutthroat. We just need to be loving, caring, listening, and then what we truly believe in, we need to go for. And if you really believe that an orphanage needs to be built, you go for it. And it's going to work out. And if you believe, if your gut is telling you that something is good, it needs to be done, do it. And I just love everything that she represents.
Wow. Wow. That is so beautiful, Sarah Janes. I have like just one big chill over here. And we didn't even discuss this before this, but I have that book on my nightstand right now.
Love it. Love it.
My good friend Erin gave it to me as a gift. But you spoke about some things that just made my heart leap, like her tenacity, her courage, her radical love. And these are things that I see that you embody as well, as I've gotten to know you. So talk a little bit about the role that tenacity and courage and going for what you really want, and radical love, like how have those shaped your life?
Wow, what an amazing question, Amy. I love that. So, wow, that's a deep question. I was raised to be a stay-at-home mom, and it was just pure ignorance from my parents. It was not like women aren't strong enough or anything like that. But education was not a thing. So no one in my family had gone to education. Both my parents are from farms in Canada. And education was, if you had your farm chores done, then you could go to school. If you didn't, you didn't go to school. Or if there was a sick animal, you didn't go to school. Like, education was like this thing that was just like extra if you had your farm work done. And even though my parents moved to the United States and we did go to school every day, they, first off, weren't able to help us. They couldn't speak the language, and they didn't know what we were learning. They didn't learn this stuff. French history is different than American history. English, they didn't have English. It was different. So in my mind, I was going to do what my mom did, and never thought outside of that until I hit my senior year in high school, and I didn't like my boyfriend and thought, I'm not marrying him. What am I going to do with my life? And I honestly walked into my guidance counselor office the month of May of my senior year in high school and said, I want to go to college. What do I do? And so he looked at me and said, are you serious? I said, I'm serious. And I was very ignorant, and I'm glad I was. He said, you can be a nurse or a teacher, and you can go to Notre Dame College. They're the only ones in Manchester still taking applications. I said, okay. I said, I'll be a teacher. And that's how I picked what I was going to be. And I filled out the application, was accepted, never told my parents. I filled out financial aid forms, never told my parents. I walked into a bank and said, I'm going to college. I need a student loan. How do I do that? They said, sign here. I said, okay, I signed. I did everything just one step at a time, being told what to do next. And I went to college. My parents were not supportive at first. They were scared of the amount of money I was getting myself in debt for an education, something that they did not value. But after I graduated college with honors, my dad shed his first time I ever saw him have a tear. He told me how incredibly proud he was of me. And I paved the way for my siblings and some cousins, because after me, many went to college. So it took courage, and I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was being rebellious. But it took a lot of courage to just walk into a bank without any kind of knowledge and just walk in and say, hey, this is what I need. Can you help me? And I'm sure they explained what it was, and I just said, where do I sign? Like, but I knew it was going to work out. I just knew everyone was doing this. It can't be that bad. It's going to work out. And then I got an amazing job in Boston. Never went into teaching, but I needed the bachelor's degree to get my job. And I could climb that corporate ladder really fast. I already had climbed pretty well in 2 years, and I was recruited by a recruiter to work at Mass General Hospital in their information technology department. And as soon as I got pregnant and started having children, I decided I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. And so my husband and I did everything we could so I could be a stay-at-home mom, and I did that for 10 years. Again, it took courage to not see the money I could make and do something that did not use my education, but what I really wanted to in my heart. And then after I got done being a stay-at-home mom, I started doing this. I started being an investment advisor. And I think, as we all know, being an entrepreneur, owning a business, being a woman in a very male-dominated industry, I've had to have a lot of tenacity, a lot of courage. I've had to forgive. I've had to have grace. And it was a huge learning process, because I didn't always have the courage. I didn't always have the grace. I didn't always offer forgiveness. But I wasn't growing, and neither was my business. And it took some hard moments to realize that I needed courage, like my mom, to just keep going. I needed to have the tenacity to have a voice. And I needed to love everyone and realize that everyone is doing their best. I had to learn to not take things personally, right? I had to learn a lot of things in the last 10 years that I've been building this business to become who I am today, and to reflect back that all of this is who Mother Teresa was, right? Mother Teresa was an amazing business person, but you would never think Mother Teresa, businesswoman. But she was she built more schools and businesses to provide for people than most people have. So great question. Great reflection. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I can totally see. And thank you for taking us on that journey, but of how tenacity and courage was woven in through your journey. And then to get to that place of radical love, right? And to get to that place of, forgiveness, of knowing that people are coming from all different backgrounds and situations, and how that has shaped you as a businesswoman. It's just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing and for being so authentic and genuine. And we just so appreciate it. This has been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you. And I so appreciate you and Melissa and everything you're doing and building, and these phenomenal relationships and meetings. Thank you. I've been looking for something like this for a long time, and I feel so blessed to have met you, and your mission is amazing.
Well, we feel the same about you. We feel the exact same. Our chapter leaders are everything to us, and our members. And so thank you so, so much.